This episode is sponsored by The Break Room, downtown's best spot for a hot lunch every business day.
On this episode, upcoming events at the Topeka Zoo, Wheatstock at Old Prairie Town, an update on the Jayhawk Theatre,
getting the community involved with its restoration is a brilliant idea,
and 712 Innovations Escape Room.
It can be really challenging or it can be really fun.
Joining me here in the studio is Dennis Dinwiddie, our friend from the Topeka Zoo. How are you, Dennis?
Good to see you, Chris.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks
now,
for the invitation.
We've hit graduations. They're done. We know the kids are getting out of school. That means you're kicking into high gear over at the zoo.
We are, yes. What we call the yellow bus season is wrapping up. We're end of year field trips, and so getting ready to get into the time of year where every day is like a yellow bus season, because all the kids are there every day, not just during field trip seasons.
And you know, for kids this summer, there are a lot of changes that have been happening at the zoo. It's a good reason to get out and see some of the new things happening.
Very true. Lots going on at the zoo. We have just recently, only a week ago, opened up the Adventure Trail system. That has a lot of great things involved with that, such as the lorikeet feeding aviary, where the lorikeets, lots and lots of beautifully, brightly colored parrots that as soon as you walk into this big, beautiful new aviary, the lories start landing on your hand to eat the nectar out of the cup that you have carried in with you. So you can walk in with your cup of nectar and 3 or 4 of them will land on your hand all at the same time to eat, and 1 or 2 more will take their place on a shoulder or a head just waiting for their turn.
Wow.
So a great experience, very interactive, very hands-on, great bonding experience with these amazing birds. Right next to that, we have the West Star Energy Theater, and that theater is providing 3 live reptile shows per day, every day.
And the zoo's growing and thriving, and the community's showing some wonderful support, and it's great to hear.
Oh, great community support.
Absolutely. And you've got some great events happening. Now, World Oceans Day is coming up. What are you doing for that?
World Oceans Day. It's Saturday, June the 6th, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and that is our opportunity to remind everybody in the community and our extended communities around us that even from right here in the middle of the country, that we have the opportunities to make huge positive impacts, huge positive steps that we can help with the health of the world's oceans. Needless to say, the world oceans are experiencing a lot of challenges now. And people sometimes think that unless you're living on a coastline or somewhere closer to the ocean, that you really can't make a significant impact. But in fact, from right here in the middle of the country, there are lots of things we can do to create a better, more healthy world ocean.
It's really the lifeblood of the world that we live in.
It is. It is the lifeblood of the world we live in. Right here in the middle of the country, an unhealthy ocean will have very, very huge impact on us. So we have to make sure it does not get to that point.
So that's World Oceans Day. World Giraffe Day is coming up.
World Giraffe Day, June 20th. So 2 of those big Saturday events. That's Saturday the 20th, 9 to 3 also. And on that day, it's our opportunity to have the community get lots of hands-on things like feeding the giraffes, for example, come out and do some other crafts and projects involving giraffes. And our opportunity to all of us remind ourselves that the giraffes of our world are in trouble, that they have suffered dramatic declines just in only the last 2 to 3 decades, and that the decline is so significant that if we don't do something to reverse it soon, we may be looking at an Africa without wild giraffes in our children's lifetime, something that none of us want to see happen. So it's our opportunity to become far more aware of that and do lots of fun and hands-on educational and exciting things at the same time. And you can also come see our new giraffe, the new giraffe at your Topeka Zoo. If you haven't come to the zoo to meet her yet, we need to meet her soon. So.
Yeah, I met her. I actually went out for the Easter egg hunt at Easter time. It's just. And a lot of people are really enjoying it. These events are well attended. A lot of people are getting out and supporting them.
You bet.
And we have another event that you're doing, specifically the Camp Out with Dad.
Camp Out with Dad, you bet, for Father's Day weekend. This is on the 20th also, same day as World Giraffe Day. And the gates open for that at 5:30 to come in that evening, and we feed everybody not just well, but in fact very, very well indeed. It's a really good night for lots of fun, lots of eating, lots of things all over the zoo that we do. And put up your tent, bring your sleeping bags, bring your fishing poles. One of the very few nights that people get to fish in the big pond on zoo grounds, which is almost like a guaranteed catch. A big, beautiful pond that only gets fished a couple of nights out of the year.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, a big breakfast. So it's a wonderful time. Lots of dad and kids things to do, but also don't forget lots of mom and kids things to do too. So dad, bring your kids, mom, bring your kids, and plan on having a really good time at Camp Out with Dad. Registrations are still open for that.
Very good, and that's going to be June 20th, so be sure to get it on your calendar. And how do people register for that?
All you have to do is call the zoo or just go to the zoo's website. It is $35 per person, other than 2 years old and under is free, just like regular admission to the zoo, but only $35 per person for an entire evening, an entire night, and the whole next morning of lots and lots of fun. All the food is included already in that cost. You can't beat it.
No, you can't. And to have the opportunity to camp out at the zoo around all the animals,
That's right. We'll keep our bears in their exhibit where they belong, so you can camp out without having to worry about the bears visiting your campsite or something along those lines. That's right. A safe, fun place to camp.
Absolutely. Well, you've got so many wonderful things happening with the Topeka Zoo. TopekaZoo.org is the website, so check it out. You can find out all the information there. They've got a great Facebook page as well, so be sure to like the zoo on Facebook. That's Dennis Dinwiddie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, and keep doing the great work you're doing over there.
Thank you, Chris.
All you guys over at the zoo. Wonderful job. Well, here in the studio we have Doug Ruth and John Bell from Old Prairie Town, and we're talking about Wheatstock. It's the 11th annual Wheatstock coming up here. How you doing, Doug?
Great.
Good, John? Everything going well?
Good. Yeah, everything is great.
Excellent. All right, so this is the 11th annual Wheatstock. Let's take this all the way back to the beginning for people saying, wheat what? What is this festival here?
Well, Doug, Doug Ruth, he was the founder of Wheatstock. I will pass the mic to him and let him kind of explain the history of Wheatstock.
There's more than just the name. There's actually a significant date you were speaking before the...
Right. It was, I was able to retire from a local company, and I was able to get back into music, which was my first love from high school. And so it was a matter of trying to get the different talent here in Topeka. And we came up with the term Wheatstock, which was a spinoff from Woodstock. And our first year in 2003 was August 16th, which happened to be Woodstock back in 1969.
Cool.
So that's a spinoff. The first year was going to encompass all genres of music. And then we started slowly condensing it down where it's what we consider Americana, which is like from folk to bluegrass and country version. And so we were able to, and we've got a few groups that borderline on rock. But it's to recognize the great talent, musical talent that we have here in Topeka.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic event. So many people come out and celebrate it every year. It really has grown to be something very special. And it happens at Old Prairie Town, which is a perfect location for it. For Americana music, it really does fit that feeling. John, tell us a little bit about Old Prairie Town and how this comes together with Wheatstock.
Sure. Well, for those that aren't familiar with Old Prairie Town, we're at a 6.5 acre historic site located at 1st and Clay, 1st and Fillmore, just west of Topeka Boulevard, 1st and Topeka Boulevard. Anthony and Mary Jane Ward moved here in the 1850s, bought 240 acres of land, settled the property, and we currently have the original house that they built in 1874. In addition to, we've moved in a number of other buildings. We have a Potwin Drug Store, we have the Mulvane General Store, we have the Pauline Depot, in addition to a number of other buildings that are at the site today. So we currently have 11 historic buildings.
Yeah, and it really does play well into, Doug, tell us what it's like to have Wheatstock at a place like this.
Well, I'll tell you, the first 2 years we did it, it was over at Gage Amphitheater. The first year it was in 2003, the temperature was 107.
Ooh, boy.
That was overwhelming. Well, then the next year we moved it back into the latter part of the year, but we just happened to hit a Saturday where you could see your breath. And for guitarists, it was hard to play with gloves on. Then we went down to Ramada Inn, Jim Parrish let us use a ballroom and the Higgins room there for several years, which was great. But this type of festival just seemed to lend itself to outdoors.
Yeah.
And I'm not real sure how John and I happened to cross paths.
I think Kyler Carpenter, our good friend Kyler from the library.
Yeah, and so we sat down one time, and it really, was just perfect. And it's really for me, it's difficult to come across a person from Topeka that's not familiar with ward meat. I mean, this is truly one of the jewels of Topeka.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then to be able to have the privilege of putting on Wheatstock there, along with the Apple Fest and many other events there. And what John has been able to do as far as the heat, because it's the third Saturday of June, is we have a huge fireworks tent that covers, and then so it really gives a little bit of, and then food is served, and the talent we have is. It's about the best you're going to find at Topeka.
All of these entertainers are volunteering their time and energy. We don't pay them a cent. They come out to perform, and all the proceeds, we don't, it's a free event, but all the we do suggested donations, and all the proceeds go back to Old Prairie Town to help with the maintenance and the preservation of the site.
Well, that's a heck of a deal.
Yes,
I mean, to get a full day's worth of music here for some really top-notch stuff, and it's free.
Yes.
And it's at a great location.
You're right. You can't beat it.
And you got an awesome host. So there's absolutely no reason not to be there. I can't think of any reason not to be there.
I agree 100%. If you're at home on June 20th, bored, that's your own fault, because you're missing out.
Don't ever say there's nothing happening here.
You're missing a great event.
Absolutely. That, again, June 20th. It's 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. happening at Old Prairie Town at the historic Ward Mead site. That's Wheatstock. I want to thank my guests, Doug Ruth and John Belthos. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope everybody gets out there to support Wheatstock. All right. That's just so. We'll wait.
Right.
We'll wait while you put it in your calendar. Go ahead and do it right now. Well, I'm here with Andrea Etzel. She's on the board of directors of the historic Jayhawk Theatre, State Theatre of Kansas. How are you, Andrea?
I'm great, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to have you here. Now, I was looking through Facebook, and the Jayhawk Theatre has a page on Facebook, so you should like that page, first of all, everyone out there in television radio land. But you guys have a video that posted, and I think it's just amazing to be able to see the inside of that space.
Yes.
Because it's so grand. It really was just closed up, left there.
Yeah, it's a time capsule.
It really is
tucked away, and it's safe, but it needs to be restored now. We need to get out there, and we need to bring it back to its true glory.
Yes, we certainly do. And one of the efforts that I know you had worked on, because I saw this video posted, and I was like, this is really awesome. There's a video on Facebook posted on the Jayhawk State Theatre of Kansas page that you put together, showing off some of the really cool aspects of the inside of the space. Tell us what motivated you to put this together.
What motivated me was the fact that one of the things I felt prior to coming on is it is tucked away. Maybe it's not accessible. So I wanted people to really see, you can get pictures and it can show how grand it is, but to see it in live, or to see it, the moving images, it's really impactful. And that's something I realized after joining the board and continuing to go back to it, is every time I was there, I saw something new. The attention to detail that was put into this building is amazing, and the craftsmanship. So I wanted to really try to capture all that into one piece of work.
Yeah, well, I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And it really is a nice piece, because when you go there, first of all, you're usually just overwhelmed. If you've been there for the first time, you're overwhelmed with what this is.
I love the first time visitors, because they're just like mouth open, like, oh my gosh, they're in awe of it.
And then once you've been there a couple of times, you start really paying attention to the details.
Yes.
And you realize the details that you see that are in there, in the wood, whether it's the woodworking, the plasterwork, or whatever it is, a lot of that stuff in modern construction you don't see at all. So really, from a truly beautiful historic standpoint, it's a gem that we need to preserve here. And there's a great effort happening to do that right now at the board. Tell us a little bit about some of the efforts.
Well, we have a new board president. He came on, Jeff Carson. He's been a part of the board and been a part of the Jayhawk for numerous years, but he just recently, within, I'd say the last 6 months, has been introduced as the new board president. And so he's been making great efforts, reaching out to a lot of community partners, possible donors, past donors, and just saying, this is our new vision, this is where we want to go, and really just just taking those steps to get us there. Recently, we received a grant from the city of Topeka, and it was part of their Heritage Tourism grant. And we were awarded $100,000 to put one of the marquees back up.
Oh,
so
awesome.
on the north side of the building, north side of Jayhawk Tower, hopefully by the end of the year maybe, we will have a marquee up there.
That's really awesome.
Yes.
And I saw that you guys have a lighting rig that they put in.
We do. We have a lighting rig. David's Lights was gracious enough to donate temporarily until October a concert lighting rig. So for the summer, we're hoping to have some live entertainment shows where we can use that. And then also with that, we'll be able to hang a movie screen up. And so also maybe introducing some monthly movies.
Sweet.
I know, we're
so
excited.
We're starting to see things happen
Yes.
there. Events, people can gather at this space, and I love that.
Yes.
Because I think for a long time it was, we need to do this entire project and it needs to be here, but it's kind of phasing it in and getting the community involved with its restoration is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Just to think about having those events there. I went last year to the Rocky Horror Picture
Yes.
Show, which was great. You guys are planning on doing that again?
We are. That was our first one, and we didn't do a lot of marketing. It was a lot of word of mouth, and it was fantastic. It was great. It's a participatory. So people come, and they're actually supposed to participate as audience members. We give you a prop bag. People come in costume, which was the funnest part, I think, people coming in the costumes. And so this year we're doing our second annual, and this will be the last week in October, which I believe is the 23rd and the 24th. It's Friday and Saturday. So mark your calendars. We already have an events made on the Facebook page, so you can click it, say that you're going, and then you'll keep up to date when we add new things to that event.
Excellent. Well,
So you
there's
gotta
so
come.
many wonderful things happening. What's the website for the Jayhawk?
It is jayhawktheatre.org, and it's theater with the R before the E. So
Excellent.
jayhawktheatre.org.
Well, I really appreciate you coming by to talk about this, and I
Thank
appreciate the video that you guys put on here, because I think it really does get people to I really do encourage you to go to the Jayhawk Theater's Facebook page and check out. There's a video of them actually in time lapse loading in that lighting room, and just to see some of the things that are happening there right now.
We're really excited.
Very cool stuff.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet. That's Andrea Etzel with the Jayhawk Theatre. Appreciate you coming by today. Joining me here in the studio is Jared Starkey from 712 Innovations. How you doing, Jared?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
Great, great. You guys, first of all, 712 Innovations is an amazing facility down there. I got to go tour through it. You got some fantastic stuff. It's been very successful. Lots of new members, right?
Yeah, as of today, which is, what is this, the 20th?
It's
19th?
around there, yeah.
I don't know when this is broadcasted. As of recording
The
this,
magic of radio, television.
As of recording this, we have 71 members, and we have done 0 advertising. So, we started with the goal of, by the end of the year, we wanted to have 120 members. I think it's pretty safe to say that once we start doing some promotion of the space, like the locked escape room, we'll see a lot more members come in.
Now, an escape room. First, what is an escape room?
So, people are always terrified when I explain this. The idea is that we are going to take willing participants, we're going to put them in a room with puzzles that are disguised. So imagine that, your office at work, imagine you've been locked inside of there and you're told that a bomb is going to go off in an hour. So that's what we're going to explain to people. Now, the room is not really locked. It's a fake lock on the door. So if somebody needs to go to the bathroom, somebody gets claustrophobia, you can actually leave the room, but that disqualifies you, I believe. So, there's no outside, going out and going back in, that sort of stuff. You will immediately encounter, once you're in the room, there are going to be some clues to kind of give you a story. Everybody's going to get a little bit of backstory before they go in, and then there's going to be things that are obvious, and there are going to be many things that are not so obvious. And my favorite part is there are some things that are going to appear to be clues that are red herrings.
That's awesome.
So we're going to mess with people. I tried out the beta test of this. We wanted to run people through to make sure this was going to work in the time format we allowed. Everybody has 60 minutes, and you don't want to give everyone puzzles that just take 4 hours to solve, so everybody loses. We wanted it to be a solvable thing. The first run, we solved it with 5 minutes to spare. So it was absolutely perfect. We actually had to back it off a little bit because we know that when we give people the full experience, they're going to get a little distracted. They're going to go a little off base. So I participated in the trial, and it was amazing fun. The weird thing about it is, even though it's challenging, it's a fun puzzle for you to go in, and there's different things. There's always 4 or 5 different kind of challenges going on at once, where someone says, "Oh, I don't know how to get this open," or "I think this thing opens. What's it do?" Or "Hey, is this a clue?" So you can kind of trade back and forth between your group. But none of them are so difficult that you don't even have to be older than about 10 to solve any of these. Cool. It's a family-friendly event. If you want it to be a little more adult-friendly, it is BYOB-friendly. It can be really challenging, or it can be really fun.
Yeah, and you're doing it with a group of people. Do these people, how many people are going to be participating in this one? So in each event?
You need to have... One person could do this.
Okay.
If you are really good at solving puzzles, one person who is extremely ambitious could go in and in an hour solve this thing.
Okay.
But when you have 2 people, then you get to work on multiple avenues at the same time.
Okay.
The recommended group size is 6. It's fun for up to 8 because there's enough stuff for you to work on for up to about 8 people. After that, you have to double up, and then you get frustrated and want to strangle your teammates because you know what they need to do, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I would say the sweet spot is about 6 people. Still fun down to 4, extreme challenge below that.
Excellent.
I do also want to thank, we did have some help on this first round.
Okay.
So everybody knows Topeka Civic Theater, one of the treasures of Topeka,
Absolutely.
has a marvelous collection of props, and they've actually graciously offered, in return for a couple tickets, to help let us borrow some of their props to make this an immersive experience the first time. So Topeka Civic Theater, Shannon Riley and everybody over there, thank you for your help. We genuinely appreciate what you are for Topeka.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do some wonderful work. It's great to have almost a library of props that they're willing to help you out with here. That makes it a lot easier.
That's a business we should have, is the prop library.
The prop library.
We're starting multiple businesses.
There we go. I'm gonna write that one down and just add it to the list.
Schultz Prop Library.
Well, that's Jared Starkey with 712 Innovations. Of course, find 712 Innovations on Facebook. They have a page there. You guys are on Twitter. You got a website. How's this all working?
712innovations.com. There is a newsletter sign up at the bottom of the website. If you are interested in the escape room and you didn't get to make it to this one, like us on Facebook or enter your email address. We've sent out like 5 emails since we even started the list. So I don't spam you, it's only good stuff. But sign up and we'll let you know when the next one is going to be. And you should expect that it's going to be amped up a little bit, since it's been so successful.
It's pretty awesome.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for all the work you do. And all the fellow nerds that we
yes.
If you want to meet
nerds, this is the place to do it.
There you have it.